Hello there, I'm Cody the Coin Raptor bringing you another great Bitcoin focused episode. And Bitcoin has been on an absolute tear over the past couple of days. We saw it come on over here at about the 20-day EMA and bounce off of that level. So I've kind of drawn in a very nice little uptrend to show you guys that we've been overall actually in a very nice uptrend since about the start of May. And now Bitcoin is actually at about $71,000. It's approaching this key resistance point here at about 72K. And this resistance level is the last thing in the way between Bitcoin going to the all-time high and potentially making a new all-time high. So if this uptrend continues, and I specifically am looking at this 20-day EMA as support here, and that little blue line here. I'm looking at this 20-day EMA as strong support. If the support level holds, we will get a retest of 72K. And then if we can get a breakout above 72K, then we can actually wind up testing the all-time high again for Bitcoin. And so this has been a very exciting time to be in the Bitcoin space. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, right back. But if Bitcoin loses this support uptrend right here, we could actually expect Bitcoin will go back and probably retest 65K, maybe in that region, maybe 66 and a half or 65K. That's what you're looking like on the downside. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at our Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're sitting at about 72 or so. So it's not even extreme greed just yet, but it is on the higher side of greed. Now, on to, I think, some fantastic news, some big news for Bitcoin, and that is that Bitcoin right now has had monstrous spot ETF inflows. So as of the 4th of June, we don't have the 5th yet, but $886 million flowing into spot ETFs. And if you take a look at the spot ETFs in total and compare them out to the start of the trading of spot ETFs, you can see that the 3rd of June and the 4th of June, basically, those were some of the biggest days of spot ETF inflows for Bitcoin in its entire history. So we actually had the increase of the total net assets up to $60 billion. Now, I want to put this into perspective. $60 billion right now flowing into Bitcoin spot ETFs would not be possible if the spot ETFs had not been approved in the first place. So this is $60 billion worth of demand, and it really hasn't even been that long. Okay, we're talking about in a time span of about 5 months or so, we've seen $60 billion of spot ETF inflows for Bitcoin. Now, again, as a reminder, when they buy these spot ETFs on exchanges, then the spot ETFs have to then go and buy Bitcoin and push the Bitcoin price up. That's the reason why this is so important to look at the spot ETFs. And it expands the investor base. So now anybody who has a brokerage like Robinhood or like E-Trade or Fidelity or something like that can come in and they can buy Bitcoin exposure, and that translates directly into an increased Bitcoin price because they are spot ETFs, and those financial institutions are actually holding the Bitcoin as custody. Now, speaking of which, if we go back and we take a look at our ETF dashboard here, we can actually see that the number one has actually been FBTC by Fidelity. So Fidelity's Bitcoin ETF is the number one so far, $380 million worth of inflows in a single day, followed closely by IBIT. Now, this is for BlackRock. BlackRock's their ETF product. Now they're still the number one if you sort it by net assets. BlackRock is still on top, then followed by GBTC and then FBTC. But it has been just an amazing road that we've seen these institutions and the demand that we're seeing for Bitcoin right now in the spot ETFs. Now, if we take a look at our Bitcoin liquidation heat maps, over the last 24 hours, we've seen about $28 million worth of shorts get liquidated. This isn't a big surprise when you consider the liquidation levels that we talked about in the last video. In fact, if we take a look at those liquidation levels, we can see that Bitcoin actually went through a few of them here on the way past 71K, because it actually went up to about 71,800 today. But we saw multiple liquidation levels here, like $350 million or so, 460, and even in the regions when it was about above 70K, 70,500, which is what we talked about last time, there was over $450 million worth of shorts that got squeezed and liquidated, and Bitcoin has absolutely rocketed higher on the back of those short squeezes. Now what we have for Bitcoin is at about 72K or so. There's another $300 million liquidation level at that price point, and then after that, there's not a lot more past that level, maybe about 72K or so. You get almost 500 million, and then above that, there's really nothing. On the other side, you have a large level here at 68K. That's about $800 million worth of longs. So if it does actually come back down to 68K, we could see those longs get liquidated and the price move lower. But so far, Bitcoin has been incredibly strong. The bullish momentum has been driving Bitcoin higher and higher and higher, despite the fact that you have some things like the Bitcoin miners that have been selling a good chunk of their position. For instance, Marathon Digital sold 63% of the Bitcoin they mined in May. That equates to about 390 Bitcoin or so, which is significant for Marathon, but it's not significant for the rest of the market. Just know that when it comes to these miners are going to be selling, and they're going to be selling at every opportunity, basically, in order to meet their needs. In fact, if you take a look at the Bitcoin miners reserve, you can see here in the last month, the number of Bitcoin in miners' wallets have been decreasing steadily. Ever since the start of May, it's actually gone from about 1,817,000 to where it is right now, about 1,814,000. So it's actually gone down a lot in the past month or so. But that being said, Bitcoin whales, on the other hand, have been splurging. Man, just take a look at this. Over from the 2nd of June, you had 388,000 Bitcoin in whale wallets, and then you take a look at the 3rd of June, and now you have almost 460,000 Bitcoin in those same wallets. So that's an increase of about 71,000 Bitcoin. Whales added 71,000 Bitcoin in a single day. Now that is absolutely wild. And again, this is on CryptoQuant. It is the Bitcoin balances for whale addresses active within the last 24 hours. Whales have been buying like crazy. They have been buying everything in sight, and they've driven the Bitcoin price up. They've been largely responsible for this huge increase that we've seen over the past couple of days. Whales have been buying the dip. Anytime Bitcoin has gone below 70K, they have been there. They have been waiting in order to push it to all-time highs. And all-time highs, ladies and gentlemen, are coming for Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time. But anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you think that whales are going to continue to buy, or if you think that it's more of a topping signal, if you think we're not going to get to 72K and surpass that, leave a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.